Going to talk about fire prevention, extinguishers, and all that good stuff. So, Wayne, do you want a headset?
You have to remember he's from Toronto.
Do you want a headset, Wayne? You said it.
He's from Toronto.
Toronto. As shy as I am to public speaking, I won't tell a joke tonight because this is very serious stuff. How many of you own a fire extinguisher? How many of you have ever had to use it? For those of you who've never had to use it, how many of you know how to use it? Good. More people know how to use it. That's good that you didn't have to use it. So, anyway, I'm just going to be very brief on what I have to say. It's, as long-winded as I am, this is a very short subject, so I'll try and deal with whatever I can. Help you out. Need the microphone? Cliff, could you give those old guys batteries for their...
Oh, there's lots of seats up front.
You can move up front, you know, don't be shy. Batteries are on sale at the entire. Anyway, there's three types of fire extinguishers. There's type A, B, and C. And it's I mean, I don't know if you can read that writing, it's not, it's big red leaves, so I don't know if it's John McLean's the only one that will be able to understand it. Maybe John McDonald's here, he can decipher it too, but it's not very clear because we didn't spend a lot of money on dry markers, so if we could spend some money, we could get some ink in them, and it's a lot easier than screwing it, gouging it in the boards. The type A extinguisher is used for wood, fire, any fire that's involved with wood, paper, cloth, any of that kind of nature that you're obviously going to have a lot of in your workshop. Type B is to deal with flammable liquids, gasoline, cooking oil, anything along that nature. Now there's a new, I got a video from the fire department I used to live in Toronto, and everybody knows that if you have a grease fire, obviously you don't throw water on it. The old saying was they put a lid on it, which is still applies today. But the underwriter laboratories who do all this underwriting for insurance now have come up with, they developed a method that's kind of contradictory when they say, well, don't put water on it. But now they're saying if you have a tea towel, soak it and lay it over the top of the container and run. That's the flash laws coming. Heard this coming? Get the hell out because they'll save the foundation. But now they're saying that you can use water, but it's just a matter of laying it on top of the fire and don't throw it because now you're just throwing it out and you're going to spread the grease. So it's a new method that's been proven and apparently it works. I've seen a couple of videos on it and it does work. So, but if there's no tea towel close to where your stove, most of have them in the kitchen, put a lid on it or baking powder. So that'll kill it. Put a lid on it, leave it. Don't lift the lid off to say, oh, I wonder if it's out. It's not out if you lift the lid. Because the more you introduce oxygen to it, the more it's going to burn. Put the lid on it, leave it, get out. Type C is for electrical fires. A lot of electrical fires you can use CO2, dry chemical, but obviously you're not going to use water, so for the same reason that you wouldn't use water on a grease fire. Now if you look at some of the extinguishers, they'll have ratings on them. I don't know if you've ever noticed, if anybody's ever paid attention to the ratings on the fire extinguishers. Probably because they'll look at them and say, okay, this is good for wood and paper, this one's good for oil and grease and gas, and this is good for electricity. But if you look at the extinguisher, they have ratings on them. And sometimes you'll see a 3A, 40-BC. What that means is they classify the rating so that the numbers will indicate that the higher efficiency of that extinguisher. Obviously a 4A is going to have a better rating or efficiency rating than a 2A. So it's just something to know that when you're buying an extinguisher, look at the ratings on it to see what they are. I mean, you can buy a $5 kitty one and it's, you know, it'll do the job. But if you spend the money and buy one of these, and you look at the ratings on it, you'll know that you're getting a better value for what you're spending for. There's different sizes you can get for your shop or for your home. 10-pound shop would be ideal for a garage or for your, extinguisher, be ideal for your garage or your shop and your 5 pounds is ideal for kitchen or laundry room. You don't need any more than that. And obviously 2 pounds is good enough. You can keep them in your car. They'll do a quite adequate job.
What size are those?
Those, I have to read this one because this is the shop's one. I don't see the number on this one. This one's been installed, and it says it's been installed in March the 9th of this year, but it's never been inspected. So, but I'm looking at the needle on it. It's still in the green. There's an indication. That's 25-cent fine. By the way.
Is it a 10 pound?
Pardon?
Is it a 10
This
pound?
is a 10. This is a 10 pound here. This is a 5, I think. When you look at the gauge here, on the gauge, you'll see there's red, green, and then there's red. Red will indicate that it's undercharged. You can also have a red that's overcharged. If it's in the green, you're in good shape. It's properly charged. Now, what you can do if you never use these and you had them sitting around in your garage for a while, you can take this and turn it upside down. If you have a rubber mallet, give the bottom of it a good whack. Because what happens in there, it gets caked sometimes, just because it's sitting there. So if you loosen up the powder in there, it'll move around so that if you happen to use it, it's not stuck there. And it doesn't hurt to whack it a good whack. So this one I had a guy on the fire prevention, Ron and Fred and Scotty would know. Shane Claver was in fire prevention, was my neighbor when I lived on Whistler, and he gave me this because my wife and I collect antiques. This is a water extinguisher. This one you have to use, you obviously use water, but there's a CO2 cartridge that goes in it, so that when you activate the cartridge, it creates like a bromine. It just bubbles it up. There's another one I think that's out, and I haven't seen it, but you can inject, use a gas or a pump for your tires, pump up the air pressure. This is ideal for your workshop because most of us are going to have, like I said, paper, shavings, wood, cardboard, all kinds of stuff. So that would be okay. But what you have to watch out for is if you have a garage that's not heated, this could freeze. Except that Bob Kitchen's had one for 15 years. He's left it outside. It's never frozen. But I think it's full of whiskey. He doesn't know it. He won't know it's full of whiskey until he goes to put out his first fire.
Wayne?
Yes, sir.
Osh has been looking for that fire extinguisher for many years now.
That's
Now
for
we know where it is.
Oh, now you know where it is. Phone to Gary and tell him that I got it. For those of you who've never, oh, sorry, Rick.
There's not an all-purpose fire extinguisher, right? It's, how many of us would have all three of those?
Yeah, you can buy an all-purpose. CO2 will be, it'll cover all of them. CO2, you'll notice it has the big horn on it, and you don't want to be holding on to that when you're using it because it'll freeze your hand to it. So, but yeah, there is an all-purpose. That's a good question. That didn't cross my mind. I thought about it on the CO2, but that's probably the way to go if you don't know what to buy an all-purpose. When I first moved here, I was involved with the Sea Cadets up on Oshawa Boulevard. So I was one of the officers. So the commanding officer asked me if I would do a demo on extinguishers for the kids and talk about fire safety. So as I was talking, I mentioned that we have a pin in here, and it won't work unless you pull the pin and you squeeze the lever. So the kids being kids, I turned to write something on the board. One of the kids reached up and pulled the pin. Not to my knowledge. So as I turned to say, you pick this extinguisher up by this, and when I did, every guy in a black uniform was white. And the kid in the front got the most of it. So I was as shocked as, actually I was shocked. they had no idea it was gonna come out, so putting a prank on me kind of backfired on them, but all you have to do is just release the pin. I'm not gonna squeeze this. When you're using the extinguisher, if there's a grease fire there, you're walking towards it, you spray it left to right, and at the base of the flame, where the liquid is, and you approach it. You don't walk right up to it, or you just kind of gradually feed it, because the more you feed your extinguisher onto the fire, it'll subside so you can get closer. So that's how they work, and the guys that said they've used them, they know how they work. One of our game plans was to have the fire department come here and bring in an oil. They have it's an oil pan. It's a square metal pan that they light on fire. And when I was working with Toronto, we used to do it every year around Fire Prevention Week. And we did it for a lot of the big companies. We did it for Xerox and IBM and all those executives who come out in their $5,000 suits, and you want to see them shit their pants when they had to get close to a fire. It was great to watch them. But being this technology day we have, that for me to get a hold of the fire department to come here, I needed to go online. Where I come from, everything that went online was closed. That's a Cape Breton drying rack for you people who don't know. Anyway, it's 30 days before they can come out, so I thought, well, for what they're paying me to come here, I'll let you suffer through 5 minutes of what I know. And it was too hard to get a hold of them, so it's just it's a technology that everybody needs 30 days and everybody has to go online. Yes,
I
sir.
had one of those small extinguishers, and it sat up in a corner in the garage for years. When I went to look at it, it was dead as a doorknob. Can they be recharged?
Yes,
And
they
if
can.
So, how do you do it?
You can recharge them, and I just happen to have a name. There's a company on, I can get one of the guys to put that on the website, the technical guys. It's at 870 Simple Street North. It's called Fire Patrol. They'll recharge them. You bring them in and they'll recharge them. What they do is they take this top off,